Welcome back to Mainland Common here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Our continuing coverage of the 2017 CCAA Women's Soccer Nationals. And this is our second and final game on day 3. And it is a bronze medal semifinal featuring Algonquin College out of the Ottawa, Ontario region, taking on Douglas College from British Columbia. And one of these two teams will advance to tomorrow's bronze medal game versus the team that we saw earlier in a 2-0 victory, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, OOCS. And they defeated Grand Prairie by a score of 2-0. So they advance to the bronze medal game, and they will play either Algonquin College or Douglas. I'm Scott Squires, along with my broadcast partner James Wise, Felix the Cat on camera. And we are glad to have you here. The first game was well played, but certainly Nate gave the team from Northern Alberta everything they could handle. And what do you look for here in this one, James?
Well, of course, we've got two different teams coming off. Douglas had a late loss yesterday, kind of a heartbreaker. They were competing for that gold medal berth, and they fell yesterday to, I believe, Garneau, if memory serves correct, in the final game of the evening yesterday. The Thunder, of course, had a good win yesterday. So a team coming off a loss looking to rebound, and another team coming off a win trying to keep their high as they head into the bronze medal qualifier here. Windy day here. We were just talking, the temperature has probably dropped at least 5 degrees since the conclusion of the first game. We had a little bit of sunshine, but it's now gone to overcast skies. Wind, no more rain, thankfully, but a chilly one out there on the pitch here at Mainland Commons in Halifax.
Yeah, it has gotten decidedly cooler, and the wind has indeed picked up. So while it's dried up a little bit with the precipitation going away, I think in this game that very stiff breeze might be what brings a little bit of a challenge to both of these sides, especially if you're talking about any kind of game through the air, whether it's a passing game or strikes on goal. Anything up in the air could be a little bit tricky with that very strong and unpredictable wind. It's not really going in any one particular direction. It's kind of a swirling wind, and that's not uncommon up here at Mainland Common. So we'll see how these two teams, Algonquin and Douglas, will handle that. Of course, the Algonquin College side, the Thunder, wearing the black with white and neon green kits, going left to right on your screen to start this game. And the team from Douglas, the Douglas College Royals, wearing the all-white kits with black trim, going right to left. We are glad to have you with us. This is our second semifinal of the day, our final game on day 3. Just the 2 games today, both the bronze semifinals. A more full day of placement games as well as bronze and gold tomorrow. But first things first, this particular game, and should get to the keepers as well. In goal for the Algonquin Thunder is Jenna King, and the keeper for Douglas College, Alexa Gazzola. So underway, that ball headed forward. A bit of a head game back and forth. Ball chipped in there. Keep an eye on Sam Kell. She is quite often the straw that stirs this drink for Algonquin College. 7 in black. She has moments where she can cause fits for the defense on the other side.
7 in white.
Or excuse me, yes, 7 in white.
And then on the same end, Gilligan for Algonquin Thunder, the 9 in black. We've seen her really play very good soccer this weekend, one of the best players in the country by far. Keep an eye on her. She's the redhead on the far left-hand side of the pitch right now in black. Yeah,
Gilligan had a 2-goal performance yesterday and was very dangerous anytime she got near the ball, and she was helped out greatly by Mallory McQueen and as well Andriana Domchalski. Very dangerous players indeed. And along with Sam Kell for Douglas, there's a couple of other players to keep an eye on.
And actually, I'm looking at it, looks like Domchalski has been saved for the starting lineup this afternoon. Not getting the start, maybe saving her for the second half action. If they are in a deficit, bring in a super sub, so to speak.
Yeah, she can definitely cause problems when she's out there. So we'll have to see if that's a strategic move by the CCAA newly named Coach of the Year, Dominic Olivieri, from this Algonquin College side. Douglas in their own zone. Nice work there from Iliopolis, another one of those dangerous players for Algonquin. Out into the slot area, right in that 6-yard box, and just kind of clearing traffic and regrouping. Douglas just clears that ball away. And again, it was Iliopolis from the corner. She likes to operate down along the sideline, deep in the corner, and see if she can work balls towards the middle. 12 in black, that's what she does. And there's another effort where Iliopolis from distance crosses it into the middle and tries to create some offense.
Iliopolis and Perry, Iliopolis is the right wing back, Perry is the right midfielder, or right winger. They have a really, really good relationship and connection operating down this right-hand side. We've seen lots of good overlaps and give and goes amongst those two players. Some of the best chemistry in soccer of this weekend has come from 12 and 15 in black for the Algonquin Thunder.
That ball goes by Briac and out of play. Coach of the Douglas College Royals is Chris Laxton. Of course, already mentioned the coach for Algonquin College, Dominic Olivieri. And this kick comes right over to Niraj Briac. And taken there off the foot of Martin. So a bit of a sluggish start to this one. The two teams kind of, I think, first of all, they're just trying to get warm.
Absolutely. It's a chilly one out there. I'd say that the temperatures even dropped from the time they started their warm-up to the present time in the game, just into the first 5 minutes. I think it's also, the pitch is still going to be a little bit wet. They're going to have to kind of feel out how this crosswind, or like I said, swirling crosswind is going to affect the ball in the air, and even on the pitch. We're kind of exposed up here on top of a hill at Mainland Commons, so even though the ball's on the deck, the wind can still affect it quite substantially.
Working with that ball there was Mendoza Sod. Mendoza Sod and the aforementioned Domchalski, kind of interchangeable parts. One usually subs on for the other, but both can be equally dangerous. But it is Mendoza Sod getting the start here today. Domchalski being held back as part of one of the potential subs. Meanwhile, here's Denovan working it forward, trying to chase it down the line. There was Robinson, but the ball goes out of play. So just underway here, 5.5 minutes into this first half. Our second bronze medal semifinal. Algonquin College and Douglas, the Thunder and the Royals.
That ball just played a little bit out of bounds there. I think the wind may have gotten a little bit of a touch. It'll stay Algonquin ball. They've had the lion's share of possession so far in this first half. That being said, it's only a little over 5 minutes in, so no real indicator on what possession could be. And like I said, both teams kind of just growing into this one still.
Ball into play, taken into the midsection there of McQueen. And it goes out of play once again.
It'll also be interesting to see how this Douglas team will respond. They're without one of their most powerful players, Kayla Hamilton, who unfortunately saw straight red yesterday after a foul. So she will not be on the pitch making an appearance for them today. That being said, they've got some deputizers in the attacking third. I believe number 9, Madison Hendry, has stepped up in the striker position to replace Hamilton. Keep an eye on her to make an impact here this afternoon.
Iliopolis moves it over into the middle. Nice little touch there. Trying to get a foot on it was McQueen. Comes back out a little more now toward midfield. Douglas will try and work it back the other way. Pettinen. Ever-present, ever-dangerous source of offense for Douglas is 24 in white, Martina Pettinen. But that's a good point that you make. Hamilton, an electrifying player, and she played so very well for the majority of that game last night in an unfortunate situation where her discipline left her for a moment, and a bit of a retaliation situation at the end of that game, and she did indeed get that straight red card, so not available here today. But hard to have a player like that taken out of the lineup. Of course, it'll be next player up, and they'll do their best. But I would say arguably Hamilton was their best player up front last night, so they'll have the deal without having her in there. But that's what team sports is all about. If whether it's injury or otherwise, if a player goes down, somebody else has got to step up and fill that void. And that's why it's a team game. You have to pull together as a team. You win as a team, you lose as a team. But again, tough loss certainly for Douglas, having Michaela Hamilton out of the lineup.
This will be a corner here for Algonquin College.
Straight line into a crowd. It's in the back of the goal. First blood drawn by Algonquin College as Thunder strikes early, and it's 1-0 for Algonquin College.
Still trying to make out who got that goal. Thought it was number 9 originally, but I think it might not have been.
Yeah, there was such a mass of humanity in front of that goal. Any number of players might have gotten that final touch to push it past the goaltender, Gazzola. So I'm not sure if we've got anybody that can feed us that information, but not sure who it was up there that will get credited for that goal. But again, that was a straight line into the 6-yard box off of that corner kick, and anywhere from 3 to 4 Algonquin players were there. Not sure who put it in, but what matters most is it's an opening goal, and 1-0 for Algonquin College.
I thought I heard from the sidelines, great goal Mallory, that being Mallory McQueen, number 7 for the Algonquin Thunder. So perhaps the goal scorer. Like I said, bit of a scrum in the box there. Hard to see who actually came up with the touch, and we do not have instant replay, believe it or not. Regardless, 1-0 Thunder, and we're just under 10 minutes into this first half.
Well, Mallory McQueen would certainly be one of the usual suspects that you would expect to be up around there, along with Gilligan as well. But good ear if you were able to pick that up, and until we're told otherwise, we'll go ahead and say Mallory McQueen gets credited with that goal. But again, all that the Algonquin Thunder care about is that it is a goal, and they do lead 1-0. So an early marker here stakes Algonquin College to the early lead.
This is kind of similar to what we saw in the Grand Prairie game previously when the Nate Ooks went ahead by 1. It's all about how you respond, and there was a good response by the Wolves there, and then progressively they, there was a small lapse in judgment that allowed that second goal to trickle in, which ended up being kind of the straw that broke the Wolves' back, so to speak.
We just saw Dhaliwar and Iliopolis come together there on the sideline for a moment. Both players went down, but both are okay. That'll just be played back to the keeper, calmly there by Gill.
And I think what we just saw there was that crosswind taking effect. That ball moved very quickly off the goalkeeper's foot out to the left-hand / right-hand flank, depending on your perspective. And the Douglas Royals unable to keep it in.
The majority of the players on Douglas, a smattering of players from other areas, but Surrey, BC, majority of the hometown listed for the Douglas College side. And for Algonquin, another goal right there! I was about to say Algonquin, mainly from Ottawa, and this team from the Canada's capital have capitalized on a couple of opportunities, and just over 11 minutes in, James, as we saw in the earlier game, it was 2 late goals that put Nate up 2-0. 2 early goals here has Algonquin College into the lead.
That goal coming from Gilligan, we had already identified her as a special player on the pitch for the Thunder. And yeah, it already Douglas in a bit of a spot of trouble. That being said, there are 78 more minutes to be played in this one. Nothing set in stone by any means.
Well, I suppose if you're going to fall behind by a couple, do it early to give yourself lots of time to get back, but you also want to be careful that you don't have that pendulum of momentum swing so far to your opponent that you just can't climb back in. But some dynamic play from a couple of players that we identified off the top, Mallory McQueen and Melissa Gilligan, and they are a 1-2 punch here, and it's 2-0 for Algonquin College.
Well, I'm thinking back to the game last night that featured Champlain versus Grand Prairie, where Grand Prairie went down early in the first half by 2 goals and eventually did draw one back on a penalty from Mikevich. And there was a while there, 10-15 minute period, where it could have really gone either way because Grand Prairie was able to rally. Ultimately, there was a 3rd goal from Remillard on Champlain to kind of kill that counterattack from Grand Prairie. But by no means is this game over.
Nice work there to move that ball forward. That's put in on goal there from Perry. And And that was started again by Iliopoulos. She got it through to Mendoza-Sod, who did some good work. And then it was worked over to Darby Perry, who put a shot on goal, but handled fairly easily by Alexa Gazzola, who has so far been beaten twice. There is Perry, working hard on the back there of Dhaliwal. Sonali Dhaliwal has played well for Douglas in this tournament. Ball comes back to Wedig. Wedig to Dhaliwal. She goes toward the middle of the pitch there on her horse to try to catch up as Wilson. And now it's turned over, and Algonquin back the other way. They cross midfield, tried to slide that ball through to an on-rushing Perry. Couldn't get it there, and it goes out of play. So a very quick start indeed for Algonquin as they tally 2 and have the early 2-0 lead. Ball over into the middle. Here's Perry. Sliding it across, looking for the dangerous Gilligan breaking in there, but it was picked off and turned back. Once again, we'll see Algonquin try to regroup. Denovan couldn't control it. Now Douglas will bring the ball back up toward midfield. Little chip pass ahead there, pushed down forward. Giving chase after that ball is Hendry. And it's just cleared away. All the way back to Briac. And she'll just push it down there, but it's taken away. And Douglas again will work, Algonquin will work it up along the line. Mendoza-Sod gives chase, and Gill could probably feel the pressure, so she just rolls it back to her keeper. They'll go to the other side now, play a little back and forth with the keeper. She goes a little deeper with that ball forward now to Pettinen.
Douglas doing well to, even though they're down, control the tempo of this game. They look very comfortable in possession, swinging the ball in and around the back line in midfield. That's something that they need to stay in control of if they want to control this game and eventually work their way back.
2-0 is your score. Just 15 minutes have come off the clock here, so a quick start for Algonquin College. Stepping into that was Kell. Tried to move it forward, but McQueen, the other number 7, on the field right now, pushes it over for Algonquin College. They'll reset. Little chip ahead there by Wilson, and it goes out of play as Robinson was looking for it over on that far side. You couldn't ask for a much better start if you're Algonquin College, and now here's Perry. Can she get onto it? Perry has it bounce over the defender. Can she get a clean look? No, she puts it into the defender, but not a bad job there by Darby Perry. Now it comes back to Iliopoulos. Iliopoulos tried to put it through the turf, had it knocked down. They'll come back to midfield. Denovan goes into the middle, the very steady Maddie Kelly. We've talked about her on previous broadcasts, but Maddie Kelly, a local player originally from the Dartmouth side of the harbor, of Halifax-Dartmouth area.
Speaking of local players, might be a good time to give a shout out to some of the young players from Soccer Nova Scotia. We had some young volunteers come out to help shag balls here today. Maybe some players that we'll see in the future in the CCAA National Championships. Good players developing here at Soccer Nova Scotia, and they're getting a chance to watch some excellent play here from some of Canada's best and some good role models around here as well, I'd say.
Yeah, great for those young players to come out and to do that, and also to be able to be here and have the exposure to be around a national championship and see some of these players that the younger folks look up to. You always hear about grassroots sports and grassroots soccer in this particular case, and it's nice to see. Through ball there, trying to run onto it was Darby Perry. He just couldn't get there, but again, not a bad idea, as right now, I talked about it a couple of days ago, but from a play-by-play perspective, in a game like soccer, I can usually tell what team is doing best by how many times I have to turn my head. And to this point, as I sit with Algonquin going left to right and Douglas right to left, I pretty much have been looking to my right most of this first half, which means that it's mainly been Algonquin on the attack.
That being said, I'm not sure Jenna King has had to do anything yet. Definitely no saves, I think, that King has had to make. I'm not sure if she's even taken a goal kick or fielded a corner. It's really been predominantly Algonquin ball here and there in the far right side of midfield.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The keeper for Algonquin has been pretty lonely back there. And I'm sure she's okay with that, but it just kind of highlights the point that to this juncture in the game, Douglas hasn't had a whole lot going in terms of offensive flow. Ball now over, coming toward our near side in our double-decker bus broadcast position.
Looks like that was flagged offside. Weird, because the ball was played so far onside, but I guess the player originated from an offside position to come get it. So it will be free kick to the Douglas Royals here.
Jasdeep Gill will take this distant free kick, and the wind just pushed that right down into the ground. A stiff breeze blowing, swirling around mainland Common here. And again, that is going to play havoc with any kind of ball played into the air at all. To midfield, Kell gets it down there, trying to catch up with Henry. She's defended smartly by Kelly. And the ball goes out of bounds. So working up towards 20 minutes played here in this first half. And the score 2-0 after a couple of early tallies from Algonquin College. And they are called the Thunder, and they have struck twice. McQueen goes back there. Went up into Kell, inadvertent. And the play carries right on to the back line, Algonquin. They'll just go back now, controlled there by Martin. Martin chips it over here for Iliopoulos. Iliopoulos. Dhaliwal pressures her. They get it up now. This is Denovan just slides it back to the keeper, and there's a little bit of work for Jenna King.
Touch for Jenna King there.
Iliopoulos now in a race with Dhaliwal. Nice job by Iliopoulos to put her back to the defender and shield the ball. Works it up ahead, stepping into it to intercept was Wedig. Gives it off for Kell. Now it was Dhaliwal.
Looks like that'll be offside against the Royals. Free kick here, and Algonquin, it is a little too early for Algonquin even to consider slowing this game down, but they seem so far to be content to just possess, swing the ball around their back line and defensive midfield, kind of probe at this Douglas defense, not forcing anything.
Iliopoulos steps around the challenge there from Dhaliwal. Work it over toward the mid part of the field. Wilson goes right along that midfield stripe. Now it's pushed ahead, and it takes a quick bounce off that turf. And Gazzola, not taking any chances, rushes off of her line and gathers that ball up. Gazzola hammers it downfield off the top of the old noggin there of Kell. Comes down, Denovan in a bit of a challenge there for it. Up forward. Now to this near side. Briac. And she'll slide it back to the keeper, Gazzola. Gazzola all the way to the other side. Moved up again toward midfield, Douglas. Trying to find some kind of way to break down this Algonquin side, and so far it's not working as Gilligan takes it away now, and McQueen will just calmly slide it back.
The wind really whipping it up out there. I can see the trees kind of 300 meters away just swinging back and forth.
Yeah, the flags at the corner, every now and then when it gusts, they're literally, the flag posts are bending over at about a 45-degree angle. Here they come. This is Algonquin now. Wilson. Wilson stops up now. Tries to slide it through. Here's Perry. Goes to the left foot. Perry. Big save as Gazzola shoots out the right foot to take that shot away. And a potential goal there as Perry got it in open space and rifled the shot with the left foot. And a dandy stop by Alexa Gazzola to keep it 2-0.
Yeah, Gazzola definitely stepping up big there. And looks like we'll have a substitution here at the